Hi everyone, I am of course Jonathan J. Reinhardt, and I'm here from wargamingrecon.com, as you see up there as well. And today we're coming at you with a cool video where we're going to be looking at some Splintered Light 15mm / 18mm models. These are ones that we're using here for a project at Wargaming Recon headquarters because my buddy and co-host Alex Kostopoulos has shown an interest in Mantic Wargames Kings of War, and he wants to do a 15mm scale instead of their 28mm. And I'm all for 15mm because it means it's cheaper and it takes up less space and you can paint it quicker. There's all sorts of reasons why it's really good. But before we go any further, I just want to remind you of a couple things. First of all, we do an audio podcast that you can get every other week. New episodes come out. You can get that by going to wargamingrecon.com. Link, you can see the name back here, but link in description below. And you can go there. You can also get it any way that you get audio podcasts. We're on Apple iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Android, Google Play, we're on Pocket Casts and Overcast, and just any of those. You'll find us anywhere. Tune in and so forth. iHeartRadio, we're there. You can get new episodes. And we talk about all sorts of wargaming stuff. We have interviews, we do reviews, we have game designers on, and other products and all that kind of stuff just shows on the show. So you can listen to that. And then I also want to remind everyone that we didn't get these at a discount, but from time to time we do get products, review products for free or at a discount, or we have affiliate links, which you might see in descriptions below. If you click those, they help keep the show on the air, but they don't cost you anything more. And I want to ask that you be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you click the little button to get those notifications. So before we go any further, we got that out of the way, and here's a box. So for Kings of War, and you can use these for any war game that you want to do, but for Kings of War, there's certain criteria, and you can go to a website. It's easyarmy.com. It's actually hosted and sponsored by the people from WWPD News from the Front, which is a great podcast, and their head honcho, Stephen McLaughlin, has been on our audio podcast in the past. He's a really great guy. But Easy Army makes it really easy, as the name says, to build point-based armies for different games. Things like Bolt Action, Saga. They started with Flames of War, of course, and also Kings of War. And Kings of War is by Mantic, as I said, and it's a game, just briefly, that is for those who love the traditional and the older style of the Games Workshop Warhammer Fantasy Battles and like that kind of stuff, but don't want to really be involved with the whole Games Workshop, the GW system nowadays. And I'm one of those people. I grew up, and when I say grew up, I really got my wargaming teeth settled by playing GW products. But I don't want to play them anymore. But Mantic you can do it really cheap, and we're going to talk about that on a future episode of the podcast. But you can use these for that. So let's dive right in, and we can see what is in the box, because we got Ratmen in here and we got Dwarves. So let's take a peek, and as I make it a little easier for you guys to see, he's right down here. We're just going to go. And if you are a youngin', or you're like me, you're an adult who is challenged with sharp objects, be careful. You need the right tools, and make sure you're very careful opening these boxes. I have to say, and it may not matter to most of you, but I hate these priority mailboxes because they're a pain in the butt to open, but they're a super affordable way for businesses to send product. And we all want to save a few bucks with shipping, don't we? I know I do. And that didn't cut much of anything. So it's one of those necessary evils in life. Yeah, let's just cut a little bit better. So I mentioned needing the right tools for the job. If you look at this knife, this box cutter, you can see, look at that, it's very dull. So I need a new one, not the right tool for the job. So we're gonna open, oh, come on. Grunting for dramatic effect. Okay. And here we go. We got the box here, some packaging. And believe it or not, this contains 200 points of figures. Now, Alex is doing a special thing where he is altering the number of figures and bases and base sizes and all that kind of stuff. So it's not really going to be what you would expect, but it's really easy to expand and do all of that. So let's just separate these into the two armies. So I'm going to be doing Ratkin, which is what they call. And we got a bunch of figures here. Now, these are what they refer to as Rat 06. And let's fly you guys in here so you can get a nice close look. I'm sorry, that's just not focusing. These are going to be my basic rat warriors. I admit they don't look too impressive on the video or in a pile. It probably doesn't help that my fingers shake. So there are these, which I think you'll agree have one amazing thing going for them, and that is that they are cheap. So these are actually two sets of what they call Rat 06, which is a number for them. And Rat 06 are Ratmen Guard. So $10 a box. You get 12 in the set with two different poses. And you can see there's one you kind of like leaning. Nice dynamic pose. Some of them got bent in the packaging. Easy enough to bend back. Just be careful, because if you bend back and forth, will snap off and you'll have to glue it. And I will admit, I don't notice here, but that second, I guess these are the two poses. I was going to say, they don't look like two different poses, but I guess they are. So one looking towards the left, see? To his right, rather. And one looking towards the left. So those are the Ratmen Guard. Get those guys out of the way. And then we also got what he refers to as Ret 04. And I believe these are what they refer to as the Ratman personalities. So let's fly you back for a moment. There you go. So let's open up the Ratman personalities. We got them in a little tiny bag right here, which I dropped. It's tricky to open this. Now, I don't know what all of these are going to be in Kings of War, but you got this giant rat. You got what looks like an assassin. What could be a leader or a wizard. This could also be like a cleric or a wizard. And another just general looking warrior kind of. He actually reminds me almost of those dwarf slayers from Warhammer Fantasy, if anyone remembers. And then I get one last group, and these are Ratmen slingers. They're gonna be like archers or something like that. So we just get them out. And there's just a few poses of these. So that's one pose. It's very dynamic. They're slinging something forward, and this is another great pose. Right here, you'll see in a moment. So those are the Ratmen right there. They're neat figures. And Alex has Undead. Now these should be pretty straightforward to paint up. Pretty easy. I know it's tiny. But I'm intended to spray them, because that's the easiest way to prime, right? Just spray them all. And then gonna paint them brown. Ideally, I'll use a brown spray primer, but I have black on hand, so I'll have to use that. But I would love to do brown and just kind of go, and then a dry brush with some black, brown, like a darker brown, medium brown. I don't want to go too dark because they're a smaller scale, and then do a lighter brown dry brush. And they do have some armor on them, so I might have to pick that out, but hopefully not too much. Now, Adrian got a few dwarfs, because Adrian loves dwarfs, and I like dwarfs too. I was actually tempted to, but I was like, I'm not painting them. I'm doing painting now, but like, geez, I knew I wasn't going to want to paint stuff. So we got here, they call dwarf huskarls. That's one pose. Nice axe up in the air. This guy looks a little weird, actually. Can't really see. But he's holding his axe along his side. So they got shields and a hand weapon. It's a pretty basic option. He got a ton of figures, actually, and I don't know what they all are. But then various different types of dwarves. So I think these are crossbow men. It's hard to make out the crossbows on them, but they're there. He has some guys with what looks like hammers and great axes and things of that sort. So there's not a lot of them. These might actually be like leader types, characters or things. So they got different poses there. He has shield maidens. You dwarf? Why the heck not? And these are pretty neat. Some poses are cooler than others. You can't really make out much with the faces, I will admit. So there's a bunch of shield maidens. And then he got some dwarf ballistas, because dwarfs, you need artillery, right? Let's just get these up. So these look interesting to assemble. I'm glad I'm not. So you got your main ballista. You got a trigger thing. And you got crew. So this must be a gunner. You got a guy with a spear. And I'm sorry that's not coming on any better. Here you go. So get that. Let's see. All these piles. And believe it or not, believe it or not, that's 2 complete 1,000 point armies. As I said, Alex is doing a special thing where he's reduced the base size, and he's also reduced the number of figures per base, because number of figures don't really matter for the base. You really just care about the frontage. And so he's done that, and we can expand these as needed. So if we like it, if we really like the rules and we like the way Alex is doing, we can actually add on extra bases and everything to that. And that's what we have here. So thank you very much for watching this video and this look at these Splintered Light figures. I got to say, just my first look at these, I've seen the ones Alex has, because he has some undead. So I've seen those, and his undead, some of them were great or okay, and some were eh. These, again, some of them, you look and you're like, the faces, and I know they're 15/18 millimeter, but I've seen some amazing 15 millimeter. I've seen some amazing 6 mil and 10 mil, and they're just okay. The main thing going for them is that they're very affordable. So Splintered Light had a special sale they were doing. It was 20% off for everything, and even without that, you can get stuff pretty cheap. So like one set of these Ratmen guard right here. I mean, about 12 of these guys is $10. I also got the Ratmen personalities, which are kind of like leaders. I didn't get command per se, but these are like $4 for all of these. The slingers are $8 for the whole pack. So I mean, I got like this gigantic pack, right, of 15/18 mil for $8. You pay like $4, $5 shipping. And then the dwarfs are basically the same. You're not paying a ton for any of these. So you're really able to pick them up and get them at a very good price. And you don't have to worry about, paying through the nose. So it's a good way that you can do this for a project and give it a try, especially the set of rules that you're not sure if you're going to like or not like. So things like the Huskarls were $8. The Shield Maidens were $8. And that, like the Shield Maidens, you get like a dozen figs, I think it is. You get a dozen figs, 4 different picks. So that's like not even $1 a guy, right? Because $1 a guy would be $8. So you're talking under $1 a figure. So that's pretty cheap, easy to paint and everything. So I think it's worth the money. I really do. And I'm sure we'll talk about Splintered Light at another time. Their figures I wasn't really familiar with until Alex talked about them, because Alex finds all these people I've never heard of before, these small companies and everything. So he's introduced us to them, and so it's sweeping through Wargaming Recon. Well, thank you again for watching this video. Don't forget to do the like, subscribe thing, get those notifications, and click the links in the descriptions, and tell your friends and share and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have more videos for you moving down the road. You can find those here on our channel and elsewhere on Facebook and so forth. Listen to the audio podcast, wargamingrecon.com. New episodes every other week. And as always, you know the drill. Keep on gaming.